Have you ever wondered if Stoicism is a philosophy of emotionless and stern individuals? This is a common misconception, but let's set the record straight. Stoicism is far from a doctrine of emotional suppression. Originating in the vibrant city of Athens in the 3rd century BCE, Stoicism is a philosophy that has weathered the test of time. Its core tenets, taught by great philosophers like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, focus on virtue, wisdom, and the understanding that we cannot control everything in our lives, but we can control how we respond. When people think of Stoicism, they often picture stern, emotionless individuals, seemingly impervious to the highs and lows of life. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Stoics are not devoid of feelings, rather they understand them, manage them, and use them as tools for personal growth and tranquility. Stoicism teaches us to distinguish between what is in our control and what is not. It encourages us to accept the inevitable, not with resignation but with understanding. It's about finding peace in the midst of chaos and strength in the face of adversity. So, Stoics are not unfeeling. They experience joy, sadness, anger, and fear just like anyone else. But they strive to respond to these emotions in a rational and balanced manner, avoiding the extremes of overindulgence and suppression. They see emotions not as inherently good or bad, but as natural responses that can be harnessed for personal growth and understanding. In essence, Stoicism is about living in harmony with the world and ourselves. It's about understanding our place in the universe, accepting the inevitability of change, and striving for virtue and wisdom in all things. So before you picture a Stoic as a stone-faced individual, remember that they are in fact deeply human, experiencing emotions but striving to understand and manage them in a way that leads to personal growth and inner peace. So let's delve deeper into this ancient philosophy and debunk some myths. Now let's set Stoicism side by side with Epicureanism, another popular ancient philosophy. Imagine a seesaw in a playground. On one side sits Stoicism, grounded in the pursuit of virtue and inner peace, while on the other side, Epicureanism bounces with the pursuit of pleasure and avoidance of pain. Both are in the playground of philosophy, aiming to reach the same height happiness, but they swing on different paths to get there. Stoicism, as we've already discussed, emphasizes the importance of inner peace and virtue. It posits that happiness is a state of tranquility that can only be achieved by accepting the world as it is and focusing on what's in our control rather than what isn't. It's about finding contentment in the simplicity of existence rather than chasing after fleeting pleasures or avoiding discomfort. On the other hand, Epicureanism proposes that pleasure is the highest good and that we should seek to maximize it while minimizing pain. However, don't let this fool you into thinking Epicureanism is about indulgence in hedonistic pleasures. No, it's more nuanced than that. Epicureanism advocates for a balanced life where simple pleasures, like a good conversation or a satisfying meal, take precedence. It warns against the pursuit of excessive physical pleasures, which often lead to pain and dissatisfaction. Despite their different approaches, both philosophies share a common goal: the pursuit of a fulfilling and happy life. They both advocate for the acceptance of the world as it is, for the cultivation of personal virtue, and for the careful management of desires and emotions. They both guide us towards a life of mindfulness where happiness doesn't come from external possessions or status, but from within. Yet it's important to note that while Epicureanism chases happiness in the enjoyment of simple pleasures, Stoicism finds it in the tranquility of mind, not in transient pleasures. It's about understanding and accepting the nature of life, about freeing oneself from the chains of desire and fear, and about finding peace within oneself regardless of external circumstances. While both philosophies seek happiness, Stoicism finds it in tranquility of mind, not in transient pleasures. Let's now contrast Stoicism with Cynicism, shall we? At first glance, Stoicism and Cynicism may seem like two peas in a philosophical pod. Both advocate for a life guided by virtue and inner contentment rather than external possessions and societal status. However, the way they propose to achieve this contentment is markedly different. Stoicism, for instance, doesn't suggest we turn our backs on society. Instead, it encourages us to play our part in it diligently and virtuously. Stoics believe in being active members of society, contributing in ways that align with our nature and roles. They posit that it's not wealth, power, or status that corrupts a person, but rather their reactions and attitudes towards these external factors. On the flip side, we have Cynicism. The Cynics were the original societal dropouts. They renounced societal norms, possessions, and desires in the pursuit of virtue. For them, virtue was the sole good, and to achieve it, one must strip away all that is unnecessary and artificial. They lived in accordance with nature, often leading lives of extreme austerity. But here's where the key difference lies. While Stoics see societal engagement as a platform for practicing virtue, Cynics view society itself as a barrier to virtue. Stoics believe in molding our inner selves to respond virtuously to the world, while Cynics advocate for shedding the world to reveal our virtuous selves. So Stoicism and Cynicism, though similar in their pursuit of virtue, diverge in their approach. Stoicism embraces the world, using it as a field to sow and reap virtue. It calls for an inner transformation to navigate life's complexities with grace and resilience. Cynicism, on the other hand, divorces from the world, shunning societal norms and material possessions to foster a simplistic, natural and virtuous life. In essence, while Stoics engage with the world, Cynics choose to withdraw from it. How about we compare Stoicism with Hedonism next? Stoicism and Hedonism, two philosophical schools of thought that have shaped human behavior and outlooks for centuries, could not be more different. Whereas Stoicism encourages self-control, discipline, and virtue as the path to happiness, Hedonism espouses the pursuit of pleasure above all else. Let's dive a bit deeper. Stoicism, as we've discussed, teaches that virtue is the highest good, and that our happiness should not be dependent on external events. It's about developing an unshakable character, a fortress of the mind that can withstand life's highs and lows with grace and composure. Stoicism promotes long-term contentment, a deep-seated serenity that comes from within, not reliant on fleeting external stimuli. Hedonism, on the other hand, perceives pleasure as the ultimate goal of life. It's about maximizing joy, comfort and satisfaction, and minimizing pain and discomfort. Hedonism is not about long-term contentment, but rather it's about the here and now, the immediate pleasure, the instant gratification. It's about the joy of the moment, the thrill of the chase, the ecstasy of attainment. But here's where the stark contrast lies. Stoicism suggests that the pursuit of pleasure can lead to a never-ending cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. It's like trying to quench your thirst with salt water. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. Stoicism instead advocates for a life of moderation, where happiness is derived from the practice of virtue and the cultivation of a strong, resilient character. Hedonism, conversely, sees pleasure as the be-all and end-all of existence, often leading to a lifestyle of excess and indulgence. The problem here is that pleasure, by its very nature, is fleeting. It's temporary, and when it's gone, what's left? A longing for more, a dissatisfaction that can never be fully quenched. In essence, while hedonism chases after the ephemeral butterfly of pleasure, Stoicism cultivates a garden where butterflies come to visit. It's not about the pursuit of happiness, but about the happiness of pursuit, the joy of the journey, not the destination. Stoics find true happiness in virtue, not in the fleeting pleasures that hedonism advocates. Now that we have compared Stoicism with other philosophies, let's look at its core principles. Stoicism is built on 4 cardinal virtues, each a beacon guiding the Stoic on their path through life. These virtues are wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. They are not just lofty ideals, but practical tools for navigating the world. First, let's delve into wisdom. In Stoicism, wisdom is not merely about accumulating facts and figures. It's about discerning what is within our control and what isn't. It's about understanding the nature of the universe and our place in it. It's about making sound judgments, choosing our actions wisely, and learning from our experiences. Wisdom, you see, is the master key that unlocks the door to a serene and meaningful life. Now, on to courage. No, this isn't about being fearless in the face of a charging rhinoceros. Rather, Stoic courage is about facing the inevitable adversities of life with grace and resilience. It's about standing up for what is right, even when it's difficult. It's about persevering in the pursuit of virtue, no matter the obstacles. Thus, Courage in Stoicism is the fortitude that helps us withstand life's storms. Justice, the third virtue, is deeply intertwined with Stoic ethics. It's not just about fairness in a legal sense, but encompasses kindness, understanding, and respect for others. It's about recognizing the interconnectedness of all beings and acting in a way that promotes harmony. Justice, in the Stoic sense, is the moral compass that directs us towards actions that contribute to the common good. Lastly, we have temperance, which is all about moderation and self-restraint. It's about not being swayed by our desires and impulses, but maintaining a balanced and disciplined approach to life. It's about knowing when to act and when to hold back. Temperance is the reins that keep the chariot of our passions in check. These four virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, are the pillars upon which Stoic philosophy rests. They are not separate entities, but rather interwoven threads that together form the fabric of a Stoic's character. They serve as a compass, guiding the Stoic towards a life of virtue and away from the pitfalls of vice. But remember, the aim of Stoicism is not to be a paragon of virtue, but to continually strive towards it. It's about progress, not perfection. It's about becoming a little more wise, a little more courageous, a little more just, and a little more temperate each day. These virtues shape the Stoics' approach to life, guiding them towards tranquility and contentment. Embrace these principles, and you too can navigate life with the steady hand of a Stoic, finding peace amidst the chaos and contentment within yourself. There are many misconceptions about Stoicism. Let's set the record straight. A prevalent myth about Stoicism is that it advocates for a state of emotionless existence. This, however, is a gross misunderstanding. Stoicism does not demand the suppression of emotions. Rather, it encourages an understanding of them. Stoics believe that emotions are natural responses to our experiences, but they also understand that these emotions should not govern our actions or judgment. Instead, Stoics strive to respond to their emotions in a thoughtful and rational manner, maintaining their tranquility and peace of mind. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We are disturbed not by things, but by the views which we take of them." This encapsulates the Stoic approach to emotions. It is not the emotions themselves that are problematic, but our reactions to them. By understanding our emotions and their causes, we can react to them more rationally and avoid being swayed by them in a detrimental way. Another widespread misconception is that Stoicism promotes passivity, that it somehow encourages individuals to accept their fate without resistance. This is far from the truth. Stoicism is not about passively accepting whatever life throws at us. It's about recognizing what we can and cannot control. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, once again, offers wisdom in this regard. He proposed what is now known as the dichotomy of control, in which he distinguishes between things we can control, like our own actions and attitudes, and things we cannot, like the actions and attitudes of others. Recognizing this distinction is not an invitation to passivity. Instead, it's a call to focus our energy and attention on influencing the things within our control and accepting the things beyond it. Stoics do not advocate for resignation, but resilience. They understand that while we cannot control all the circumstances of our lives, we can control our responses to those circumstances. This is not passivity, but active engagement with the world around us. Stoicism also values virtue and moral character above all else. It's not about withdrawing from the world, but about how to live in it in a virtuous and meaningful way. Stoics believe that our worth is determined not by our external circumstances, but by our internal virtues. So let's make it clear. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions or passivity. It's about understanding our emotions and actively engaging with the world in a virtuous manner. It encourages us to focus on what we can control, to respond to our emotions rationally, and to live according to virtue, regardless of the circumstances. Stoicism is a philosophy for living, a guide for navigating the challenges of life with wisdom and virtue. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions or passivity. It is about understanding our emotions and actively engaging with the world in a virtuous manner. So, is Stoicism still relevant today? A question that echoes in the minds of many. Let us delve into it. Stoicism, a philosophy born in the bustling markets of ancient Greece, might seem antiquated at a glance. But when we peel back the layers, we find its principles as applicable today as they were 2 millennia ago. In the whirlwind of modern life, we are often confronted with stress, anxiety, and adversity. Our lives are filled with deadlines, traffic jams, and an incessant barrage of information. Amidst this chaos, Stoicism offers an island of tranquility. The Stoics believed that we don't have control over external events, but we do have control over how we respond to them. Imagine applying this principle when you're stuck in a traffic jam. Instead of allowing frustration to consume you, you could use the time to listen to an audiobook or simply enjoy the solitude. Stoicism also teaches us to differentiate between what's essential and what's not. In an age where we're constantly bombarded with stimuli and distractions, this principle becomes especially relevant. It encourages us to focus on what truly matters, helping us to lead more satisfying and meaningful lives. Moreover, Stoicism aids us in dealing with adversity. It encourages us to see challenges not as misfortunes, but as opportunities for growth. When faced with a setback, instead of bemoaning our fate, we can ask ourselves, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? So, when we ask if Stoicism is still relevant today, the answer is a resounding yes. It's not about wearing a toga and meditating in a marble hall. It's about adopting a mindset that enables us to navigate the turbulent seas of life with grace and serenity. Stoicism, despite its ancient origins, remains a practical guide for living a fulfilled life in our modern world. We've journeyed through the world of Stoicism, but what have we learned? Indeed, we've navigated the labyrinth of ancient philosophies, dissected their differences, and placed Stoicism under the microscope. We've seen how it differs from Epicureanism, Cynicism, and Hedonism, each with its unique perspective on life, happiness, and virtue. We've illuminated the core principles of Stoicism. It is not a doctrine advocating emotional suppression or a call to retreat from society. No, it is about understanding our emotions, not being enslaved by them. It's about finding tranquility amidst life's turbulence and recognizing that we control our reactions, not the events themselves. It's about embracing virtue as the highest good and seeing that our moral and ethical conduct is the only true wealth we possess. We've untangled the misconceptions associated with Stoicism, illuminating its true essence. Stoicism is not a philosophy of grim endurance or cold indifference. It doesn't ask us to become unfeeling or uncaring. Rather, it teaches us to be resilient, to find peace in accepting what we cannot change, and to focus our energy on what we can influence. It invites us to cultivate an inner citadel, a fortress of the mind that remains unshaken no matter the storm that rages outside. In our modern world, where we are often tossed about by the tumultuous seas of external circumstances, the relevance of Stoicism cannot be overstated. It offers us a beacon of light, a guide to navigate through the storms that life inevitably brings. It provides a framework for living a fulfilling life, irrespective of our external circumstances. It encourages us to seek tranquility, practice virtue, and embrace the present moment. Stoicism, as we have seen, is not about suppressing emotions or withdrawing from the world. It's about understanding our emotions, embracing virtue, and finding tranquility in our lives. It's a philosophy that is as relevant today as it was in ancient times. This, my friends, is the true essence of Stoicism.